And I'm going to say today is yet another good day because John Mattox, the illustrious celebrated author, is here today. What have you got, John?
Hi, Doug. Thanks for having me. So again, we're going to continue our Know Your Numbers webcast. And this is for HR data literacy. This is series 1.6, and we're going to talk about managing with prioritization. And this is a continuation of what we were talking about yesterday in our mantra of measure, monitor, manage. So we're going to get to the manage side.
Right.
So just quick introductions. We're helping HR build data literacy. 3 to 5 minute webinars. Sometimes these go a little longer than 5 minutes, but stick with us. We want to provide data-rich content. I'm John Mattox.
And he's written these
Doug
books.
Gray,
He's very
holding
famous.
up two of my
Yeah,
books.
yeah.
And after this, as you watch this recording, ask questions, post reactions, get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, so to the content of what we're going to talk about today, managing with prioritization. So last week we talked about monitoring your numbers. Today,
Monitor.
yeah, we got our symbol here. That's pretty cool, right?
Periscopes.
Now, we need something for manage. I don't know what that's going to be. So that might work. So today we want to talk about managing after you've monitored, and what we're going to focus on is improving the overall quality of a learning curriculum. So bear with me for a second. I know this is a bit of an eye chart and it's a lot of data. It's okay.
I'm a little scared. I'm a little overwhelmed. Like most people, probably, by most data sets. Keep going.
Give me just a second here. On the left-hand side, we've got a list of courses. Across the top, we have a variety of metrics: knowledge gain, intent to apply what they've learned, NPS is Net Promoter Score, performance improvement, whether training was a worthwhile investment, and finally, return on investment. So if you've been gathering data on your courses, you might have this list of metrics. You might have a different set. We're just going to go with this today. So first of all, collect all your data in one place. Get your courses, your rows, your columns. That's the first step.
Mm-hmm.
Second, sort your data.
Mm-hmm.
Now, among these, I would argue that ROI is probably the most important because it has the most relevance to the business. So I've sorted that in descending order by ROI. And what turns out, project management's on top, metal cutting, shop safety. By the way, this is a curriculum I just made up for a welding or manufacturing company. Okay, so we now have them ordered. Pretty simple thing to do. Here's the important step. And this is where you take action and make decisions, or make decisions and take actions. Highlight the top 10% or so, the ones that are really doing well. Those are in green now. And the ones in the middle are doing fine too, but they're not the great ones. The ones in the middle and at top, you want to retain. They're doing fine. You might also want to consider the ones in green. If they're really doing this well and you haven't reached the entire population that should be taking these courses, make sure you push it out to them, because that's going to be more effective at making them do their jobs better. So that's just a matter of push and marketing.
So other words I've seen, people will segment a data set like this into recommended or required. So the green might be the required. So a manager might say you need to do these in your onboarding within the first week or first month. Correct? Or you need to review them quarterly, whatever the updates are. Is that kind of where you're leading?
Perfect. And that fits in really well. And the manager should be monitoring if they have 50 employees and only 40 have taken those top green classes in the time frame that they're supposed to. The manager needs to go back into those last 10 and say, make sure you finish these because they're really important.
Yeah, so there's ROI. Another related factor, depending on the work environment, would be costs, like safety issues or OSHA violations or waste, inefficiency. You could add all kinds of columns here, I suppose.
Yes, you could. And that helps. It's really effective for managing vendors, because you want to see how effective they are in costs. And you can look at the combination of those two data and start to make decisions about who do you keep and who do you not on the vendor side.
Oh, so a learning management vendor or a learning and development vendor who hires action learning associates would have us as one of those rows? Is that what I'm hearing?
Of course, and that would be the high value, low cost.
Green, baby, green.
Green all the way.
See, now we're managing. Now we're looking at the interactions and the value.
Exactly. Let me tie up this slide on the bottom. What we see down in red, or the light pink here, is revise if needed. And importantly, consider whether these courses are actually still relevant. They're probably getting low scores because they're not meeting the needs or they're not aligned to the business needs for the organization. So the two things that you could take, the actions you could take would be to just simply retire it or just revise it. Make sure you spend time and effort to fix it. Okay, so if those are your
Before you go on,
decisions,
is this what you call waste? You mentioned waste in the past.
this is a really good source of waste. Now, any given course could have a certain amount of waste, but the ones here at the bottom are more likely to have waste or scrap.
Scrap, that's it. Yep.
Yep. Now, what happens when you take out that bottom red chunk, the group of underperforming courses? What that automatically does, it elevates the overall quality of the curriculum. So I did some quick numbers. It lifts the ROI average from a 10 to 1 to a 12 to 1. So for every dollar you've invested, it goes from $10 returned to $12 returned. You've just increased the value of your curriculum. The risk is that by removing those courses, you might have removed some that are still really valuable. And that's where you decide the ones that you retire go away, the ones that you revise will eventually be added back in here, but they will hopefully increase the ROI compared to what they had before. And again, you're going to lift the overall value of the curriculum.
So I'm guessing this is a quarterly process or an annual process, and you look at, for instance, the need
Good
for
point. I
digital
forgot.
technology or cybersecurity or ethical stuff in response to market changes or pandemics or business needs. Yeah.
Yeah, great point. You don't want to do this daily unless you've got thousands and thousands of courses. Monthly might be a little bit too frequent too, but quarterly, half year, full year, yep, all reasonable time frames for doing this. All right, let's draw this to a close. There are many ways to manage people analytics, the prioritization and decision-making with our retain, revise, and retire approach. It's a really good, simple way of doing that. And then just remember, this is all part of the measure, monitor, and manage. And if you're not managing, the measuring and monitoring part is completely useless. It's no value to the organization. And that's it. More to come next week.
Great job. Nice summary. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Doug.